You are understanding that there will always be a new desire. That from wherever you stand, your new perspective, from your eternally evolving perspective, from your eternally evolving chewing on the data, will always give birth to a new desire, and so there will always be that temporary vibrational gap between where you now are and the new desire that you have launched. So you're ready to finally conclude that those unfulfilled desires are no longer troubling. Those unfulfilled desires are actually an indication of good things. You're not really ready to go that far, but we really want you to come to the place where you are acknowledging that contrast is a wonderful thing because it helps you to focus desire. And desire that is focused is the summoning of source of life through you. If you can reach the place where you're making peace with the fact that there are things that you do want that haven't yet manifested, but that are underway, then you can more quickly close that gap between the things that you want and the things that are manifested. There are many things that you want that you continue to want that have manifested. And there are many things that you want that have not yet quite come into physical fruition. And we make an effort at helping you to become good with all of that by reminding you that you never get it done. There will always be another unfulfilled desire. But we think part of the reason that you are a little slow in coming around to the idea that it is really a good thing that there are unfulfilled desires is because sometimes the vibration of your awareness of where you are in relationship with the vibration of what you want is so far apart, and you've practiced so much noticing that it isn't happening or that it hasn't happened, that the vibration of allowing it to happen isn't even in your vibrational vocabulary, so to speak. So then you go for long periods of time without getting what you want. And we don't blame you for being impatient about that because it's not supposed to take a long time between the time that your contrasting experience inspires the desire and the full-blown manifestation of it. And so we understand how if you have not been knowing about this vibrational relativity and you haven't been doing anything deliberately about cleaning up your own vibration, we can understand why you would be a little reluctant to wholeheartedly go along with us when we say, and you are delighted about those unfulfilled desires, yes? So it is our expectation that as we play together today, and as you get a keener sense that you are vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe with a vibrational indicator within you that lets you know your vibrational proximity to everything that you want, you will, before long, be able to wholeheartedly announce, I am not troubled by my unfulfilled desires, because I have now come to the awareness that it is not a matter of whether it will be achieved or not. That is for sure. I can create anything that I desire. The question isn't if it will happen. The question may still be when will it happen? And you have control of the when factor. You have control of how long it takes from the time that you identify that you want something and the time that it manifests, because you have control of your vibration. We're going to talk today about vibrational relationships because we want you to understand that there is vibrational relationship between what you're offering right now and where you want to be that has to come into alignment. In other words, you cannot be living not enough money and send constant rockets of desire into your vibrational escrow asking for more money and complain all day, every day about not having enough money and close that vibrational gap. Because when you keep noticing that you don't have enough money, you keep activating a vibration of not enough money, which doesn't let you become a vibrational match to enough money. So we want to talk about vibrational relativity so that you can come to understand that you don't have to understand or know or worry about or even consider what anybody else thinks about anything that has anything to do with you. In other words, there are so many rules and restrictions and laws and opinions that are out there, and so many of you are giving your attention to so many of those that you get yourself all scattered and you lose your way relative to the only two things that matter. And the only two things that matter are, where am I and where do I want to be? And so we want you to come to the awareness that these 2 points of vibrational relativity are all that are important to you. Where are you in relationship with where you want to be? And your emotional guidance system is letting you know in every moment where you are in relationship to where you want to be. You've heard us say, if you've been listening to us at all, we've written a book even that talks about it, that when you ask, it is given. And that's our way of explaining to you that in the moment that your environment causes a preference or a desire to be born within you, Source becomes immediately at one with your new desire. Not with where you are in relationship to your desire, but at one with the new desire. Now, we don't think that you really understand that, so we're going to do a little bit of a sales job here because we want you to understand that the evolution of all species, the evolution of this universe is dependent upon this powerful law-based fact. And it works like this. Do you know that you are extensions of source energy? You are not here as some lesser than God physical being trying to figure out how to prove worthiness and catch up to the perfection of that. Instead, you are that which man calls God, here in a physical body, extended out into this leading edge time-space reality. You are as leading edge as God can get. So, as you're having an experience, and the experience causes something to occur to you that you would prefer. You're hungry, you want food. You're thirsty, you want water. Someone's rude to you, you want them to be nicer. You're rude to someone, you want to be nicer. In other words, in every moment of every experience, you're living life which is causing preferences and desires to be born. And in the moment that the new desire from this leading edge now experience that you're having is born within you, Source says, we agree. Now think about it. How could it get any better than that? Don't you think that it really makes sense that you who is out here living the life experience, who could know better, who could choose better than you who's right here living the experience? Have you noticed how well it doesn't seem to work out when large numbers of people or even small numbers of people leave their own personal well-being to the government? In other words, have you noticed how when people turn over their individual choices to someone else, that someone else always gets bogged down in the overload of trying to create the reality that they were never intended to create? You create your reality. And we want you to understand that it's much easier than most people make it out to be, because as you live life, you worthy beings that you are, and you have something occur that makes you prefer or want something different than you're living, Source says you should know. You're the one on the leading edge. You're the one having this specific experience, and no one else in all of the universe is this unique person with this unique personality, with this unique set of intentions, having this unique experience, and setting forth birth to these unique desires. You should know. And Source is so confident in your worthiness and in your wise ability to choose that in the moment that a preference is born within you, whether you are this full-blown genius human that you are, or whether you are the one-celled organism in the ocean, when you, any consciousness, a cell in your body, any consciousness is having exposure to experience, preferences are being born, and Source says, yes. So, 1 point of vibrational relativity is immediately established. What you want and Source's undivided, unequivocal agreement with it. So the only other point of vibrational relativity is, where are you in relationship to what you want and what Source has agreed that you should have? When life causes you to want more money and Source says agreed, and then you complain that you don't have enough money, you hold yourself in vibrational discord, and you've got to find a way to close that gap between where you are and where you want to be. if you are to receive the manifestation. And even more, you must get up to speed with what life has caused you to become. Did you hear that? You are leading edge beings, having leading edge experiences, giving birth to leading edge desires that you must now become a vibrational match to if you are to close that gap. And closing that gap means coming into vibrational alignment with Source. And what that means to you, besides manifesting all of the things you want, it means vitality and clarity. It means positive emotion. It means appreciation. It means love. It means joy. It means passion. It means exhilaration. In other words, when you are in alignment with your Source, that's what those most positive and good feeling of emotions are. And the further out of alignment you are with your Source, then the worse you feel. And we're going to say something else here right now for the first time. The emotions that you feel are only about your own personal vibrational relativity. They're not about what somebody else is doing. They're about your relationship with the things that you have said you want, that Source has agreed that you should want, that you are having some vibrational relationship with here and now. Your emotional guidance system is always in every moment letting you know the only two things that matter: the vibrational relativity between who you have now become as a result of your leading edge exposure to your leading edge experience and what you are doing about it here and now. We'll talk a lot about closing this emotional gap. And you're going to notice that closing this emotional gap is the same thing as moving up the emotional scale. It's the same thing as quantifying your journey. We see Esther and Jerry. They're going across the desert from Phoenix to San Diego. It's an easy journey, really, 400 miles. They know they must head west. It takes about 8 hours or 7 hours or 6 hours. It depends on which one of them is driving. And as they're moving out across the desert, we never see them get to about the halfway point or beyond Yuma and be so disappointed that they're not yet in San Diego that they freak out and get disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. In other words, they don't go Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, and then announce that San Diego is incurable. They don't go Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, and then announce that it's impossible, because they understand the journey. So when you understand the journey, you can tell which direction to face. And when you know which direction to face and you apply some consistency, eventually you're going to get to where you want to be. But we see many of our physical friends on the journey from sickness to wellness, getting nearly to the point where the wellness is going to start manifesting, and they take score of where they are right now. They take the test, and then they freak out and turn around and go back to Phoenix. So they go sick, 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 and then they announce, and science helps them, you've got something that is incurable. And we say, that's not possible. It just must be that you're stuck in a vibration that isn't allowing the wellness in that would be there if you'd stop doing that thing that is not allowing the wellness in. There is only a stream of well-being which you are allowing or not. There's not a stream of sickness. You don't walk into a room and look for a dark switch. You don't open the closet door where darkness is and expect the darkness to come in and dilute the light. You don't say, let the darkness in, it's too bright in here. You push a button or turn a knob and you resist the light. There's not a source of evil. There's not a source of darkness. There's not a source of sickness. There's a source of well-being which you allow or not, and you can tell by the way you feel whether you are in vibrational alignment with the well-being or whether you've got something going on that's not allowing it to flow. So what happens to so many people is that they let what is dominate their personal vibrational patterns. Instead of thinking about where they're going or where they would like to go or remembering a better time, they focus almost without exception doggedly on what is. And the thing about that is, whatever you are giving your attention to activates a vibration. So let's say You want more money. Clearly, every day something happens that causes you to launch rockets of desire, and we want you to know those rockets are being lovingly tended for you in vibrational escrow. In other words, they're over there. We like that term, vibrational escrow. They've got your name on it. Nobody else is going to get it. It's there for you, just waiting for you to become a vibrational match with what you're asking for. And over a lifetime, you launch so many rockets of desire relative to so many things, but especially on the subject of money, that there is a veritable fortune lurking there waiting for you in vibrational escrow. We're not kidding you about that. If you know how many circumstances and events have been queued up, lined up for you, just waiting for you to close the vibrational gap.